how did you get into sort of illustration and book writing?
Sure.
So,
So actually I taught myself to draw during lockdown. I didn't really draw before then, not really. I don't class myself as an artist. I've always written, but I don't really class myself as an artist. And I had a friend at the time going through a bit of a difficult spell. So I thought, well, I'll create a greeting card to send to him because I couldn't find one that sort of said the right thing. Yes, that's kind of how it started. I drew well, it was watercolor I was using at the time, a little fox under the moon illustration, put some nice words on and sent that. And then that was sort of how it all launched, how it started, because we had the like the Facebook post that I put out about it went, not, I wouldn't say viral, but I got quite a lot of interest in it, like, that. And yeah, lots of followers from there and built the page, and that's sort of how it all began.
'cause I think I was looking into it. You started in like, was it around 2020 or thereabout?
Yeah, so 2020 was when I kind of started teaching myself to draw, and having a little play around with painting and stuff like that. It was 2021 when I decided to start Fox Under the Moon as a business, because like I say, I'd been posting stuff on social media and the posts were getting quite a bit of traction. I was gaining a few followers, so I thought, well, it would be good to, yeah, just be able to kind of share it a little bit wider. And people were sort of asking me, had strangers getting in touch and saying, could you do a post about, depression or anxiety or grief or things like that? So that's kind of where it started. And that's when I realized actually I could probably start selling these as greeting cards. So that's how it all began.
So, what inspires your work at the moment, and sort of what's your favorite book to look at for inspiration?
To be honest, I don't really use books so much for inspiration. The drawings are all inspired by kind of nature. I love the
Yeah.
outdoors and being outside. But the words and things that go along with my illustrations are inspired by the people that are following us on social media. I get so many lovely messages every day, really, from people telling me about what they're going through in life and explaining their situations, and that kind of inspires the themes that I do for the conversations between the fox and the moon. Since I've had my traditional book deal as well, I've got my book here. I know the listeners won't be able to hear, but those watching will be able to see. Sorry. So that was all came directly from conversations that I've had with people about what they're going through, and I've been able to sort of channel that into illustration, which is it's just a really nice way to be able to share it. And then lots of people resonate with that online, I think, and share the posts out, which has enabled the social media to really grow.
What would you say your favorite kind of book is to read when you're not writing books?
Oh gosh, I actually read a lot of non-fiction myself. So I'm really interested in psychology, and things like that. So I read a lot of psychology-based books. I like learning about the brain and that kind of thing. I think it links into what I do with mental health as well, obviously, because all the Fox and the Moon stuff is based around mental health. I think that really it just ties in. I'm always somebody who likes to be learning things. I'm a real sucker for children's books as well, though. Like I think being an illustrator now, I just really love children's books. I go into Waterstones all the time and, flick through the illustrated books and things like that and kind of get ideas for new styles and things that I can do. So I love that. And I read novels as well. I'm writing a novel at the moment, so that's kind of like a bit of a sideline thing. But yeah, lots of different stuff, but mainly non-fiction.
So, what's your process for deciding the characters and the order of illustrations in each book?
Yeah, sure. That's a really good question. To be honest, it sort of evolved over time. When I first started, all I could really draw was the sky and the moon. So that's kind
Yeah.
of where that started. And I draw everything digitally now, so it's much easier for me because my iPad has an undo button, so I can kind of have another go. And I brought the little fox in because I wanted to have a character, so I started with that. And I moved away for a while from just drawing the fox. I brought in some other little woodland creatures who do feature sometimes, but my audience on social media were a bit annoyed with me and they were like, no, we want the fox back. So generally I do stick, that's always my sort of central character. But yeah, it's nice to bring other little animals and bits and pieces in. And then in terms of the process for illustrating, I tend to use, like I said before, a lot of kind of inspiration from the natural world. So I'll take photographs of different sorts of trees, and I do a lot like my book is the book that I've got with a publisher at the minute is Seasons of Comfort and Hope. So this goes through the seasons. So starts off in winter and then moves through. So I've got a huge collection of photographs on my phone camera roll of like how the trees and forests and stuff look at different times of year. So I use that a lot for inspiration. And then I we used to have a little border collie, a dog. Unfortunately, she passed away last year. But I used to photograph her in different poses so I could get the what's the word, like the perspective right for drawing the
Yeah.
fox creature like, as an animal. So a lot of my foxes are based on our border collie.
Often do get like all the changes. Like at the moment, you got more color outdoors, and so you got more
Yeah,
the
that's it. Yeah, it's lovely. And I mean, again, especially when we used to have Pixie the dog. I mean, not anymore, but we used to go out every single day, whatever the weather was like, we used to be outside. We try and get out and walk as much as we can still. So it is nice. I think if you immerse yourself in that sort of changing environment and stuff, it's really easy to be inspired for that. So yeah.
uh, what do you think one thing is someone can do again as illustration if they're considering it? So,
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of people ask me this actually, same with writing as well. And I think, to be honest, from someone who hasn't had a background in art at all, I didn't study art. I did graphic design and product design when I was at school, but I haven't got any kind of art qualifications. I think just having a go is the way to do it. I mean, it's incredible now how much you can learn from YouTube. I mean, when I bought my iPad and decided I was going to start digitally illustrating, everything I learned was from YouTube tutorials and TikTok tutorials and things like that. So I think we live in a world now, in a day and age where it's really easy to learn a new skill. So you don't have to go, to college or to art school or university to learn how to do a creative skill. I think if you're a creative person and you're happy to just have a go and accept that it's not going to be perfect straight away, I think it's quite easy really to get started. And then I think the key is just remembering that there's so different styles of art and illustration that even if you don't feel you're as good as somebody else, because I think we all compare ourselves in all aspects of life, I think just kind of finding your style is the way to go.
I think because it all sort of evolves over time, so it improve.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the more you practice these things and the more you have a go and the more that you kind of look what other people are doing and obviously not copy them, but learn and then
Yeah.
get inspired by them and things like that. Yeah, definitely. I mean, certainly my early work was very, very different to what it is now. And I have a bit of trouble looking at it because I think, oh God, it was terrible. But actually you've got to start somewhere. And I think you can't become good at something, you can't master a skill unless you start being rubbish. Essentially, that's how you do it.
Because I sort of did a bit of art before I got into what I was doing now. So
Yeah.
I sort of did GCSE and A level art and sort of
Oh, did you?
did
Oh, okay. So yeah, obviously creativity, not just in the podcasting world and stuff like
yeah,
that. But I guess that's what gives you your interest for sort of interviewing other
yeah,
creatives, right?
and then did design recently.
Yeah,
So it was the main study. And then and then decided again photography.
yeah, yeah. Well, photography. I always think photography is. I did photography A level, and I think it's a really great form of creativity because you can physically capture around you, can't you? You can kind of take a moment and make that into a piece of art. I think is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. What do you think you'd be doing now if you weren't doing didn't decide to do like publishing or
Oh gosh, it's funny. So before I started work on the book, and Fox Under the Moon, before that was a
yeah,
thing, I was a primary school teacher, so that's what I was
yeah,
doing originally. And I didn't really enjoy it, to be honest. I didn't like having to work for somebody else and do set hours and things like that. I loved working with the kids, but not everything that went with it. I think I'd really struggle now that I've worked for myself to go back into like an employed job. That being said, I've always thought if I could go back and have my life again, I'd quite like to study marine biology, and I'm really like I love, as I've said, I love nature and I love the sea and things like that. And yeah, that would really fascinate me. But again, I don't know that I would necessarily have the patience for it.
yeah,
So I think, yeah, writing especially has always been in my blood. It's just always been something I've wanted to do in various forms. And every job I've had, because I worked for a charity for a while and things like that as well. And I was in their marketing team, and a lot of my job there was writing copy and things like that. So, yeah, Yeah, I don't know to be honest. If I had to give this up now, I think I would struggle. I think.
I think that sometimes it's once you get into something, it's hard to sort of get used to doing it. You kind of
Yeah,
think of
that's
doing
it.
anything else. So,
Yeah, you get kind of stuck in your ways a bit, I guess, don't you? You kind of,
yeah,
yeah, and it's great. I think it's fantastic to be able to do something that you love every day. I think if you can get a job where, or you start your own business and do something that you love, I think
yeah.
yeah, that's the key to being happy. I think if you can do what you love every day for certain.
I think that's the main questions I find. I don't know if there's
Yeah,
any other
fantastic. Yeah.
questions like you have or
Yeah, I'm really interested to know a little bit about how you got into photography. How did you start with that? What inspired that?
I started out in A-level photography a while ago, so
Yeah.
I don't have any of the equipment back then because it was during the whole you couldn't go out and that kind of thing.
Ah,
So
okay. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh, lovely. So what kind of photography do you do mainly? Is it mainly events and things like that, or do you do portraits, landscapes, or
at the moment I mix it's like I don't know, doing just stuff for myself is normally like landscapes and buildings
yeah.
and
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Brilliant.
say if I'm doing other work, there's a lot of events and sort of portraits.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's interesting, varied, isn't it? It gets you can do lots of different things with it.
Yeah,
So, oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. No,
yeah,
lovely. I'm guessing when you put the podcast out, we'll be able to link to social media and things like that and that kind of
yeah,
thing. So I mean, people can find me online if they just search for Fox Under the Moon, they'll find me everywhere. So yeah, and we've got our little
yeah,
website shop where we sell greeting cards and books and gifts and things like that, and you find us in lots of shops. But yeah, thank you ever so much for
yeah,
for taking the time for this today. It's been really nice to be part of it.
yeah, definitely. Well, thanks for being on.
No, not at all. No.
Have you got much that you're thinking of doing in the next few months with sort of the Fox Under the Moon or Boots?
Well, I've just finished the second version of the book, so the book two is going to be out in the autumn. So I think hopefully late September, early October, there'll be a second book. So I've just sent all of the artwork for that over to my publisher about a week and a half ago, and that was a big piece of work. So I was glad to get that finished off. There's a lot of illustration, a lot of hours and time went into doing that. So yeah, that's in the pipeline at the moment. And then we've got some new greeting cards and new designs coming out in the summer. So yeah, there's quite a few bits going on.
Yeah. I saw that you were looking at publishing a novel as well.
Yeah, that's right. So I've got a literary agent working on a like a women's fiction type novel, which it's finished. It's the final draft is
Yeah,
is out there. So that's currently on submission with publishers, which essentially means that it's been pitched to lots of different publishers, lots of editors. They'll have a look at it and see, and then if any of them like it, they can then make an offer and hopefully publish it. So it's kind of a bit of a nerve-wracking time at the moment because I've done all I can do. I've released it out into the world, and now it's just up to publishers to see if any of them resonate with it and things like that. So that's a bit of a watch this space, but hopefully in the next few weeks I'll have a bit more news about that.
yeah. Oh, that's good talking to you this morning.
Yeah, lovely. It's been really, really good. Thank you. And thank you for the
Yeah,
opportunity to feature Fox and the Moon. It's been fab.
yeah. I'll see you later.
Lovely. Thanks. Bye, Stephen.
Thanks. Bye.